Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Zimmerman. I am an ecologist and an entomologist.
Hi, I'm Ped Daneshgar, and I'm a botanist and ecologist. And today we're going to review Frankenstein. We're going to dissect it from a biological perspective. Hello, welcome to the Nerdy Naturalist channel, where we like to examine the real and imagined world from the biological perspective. And today we're going to chat about Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. So first, let's just give our overall opinion, thoughts of the movie. So Kelly, what did you think of the movie?
I loved it. I thought it was really beautifully filmed. The shots were gorgeous. The actors were amazing. I can't believe how good the actor who played the monster was. A lot of heart there from a thing that says two words mostly in the beginning, and
Right.
I really liked it. Did you like it?
I did like it. I never thought somebody with the character named The Creature would also be
Yeah.
kind of attractive, honestly. But I really loved it. Guillermo del Toro has a way of making horror poetic, and I
Yeah.
just thought kind of romanticized Frankenstein a little bit. But I did really like the movie. It's interesting because it sort of is like a father-son tale, and it was also cool to see this story from two perspectives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, how it flipped later on. And
Yeah. So overall, just kind of really blown away. I've seen three versions of Frankenstein. I saw the 1931 version with Boris Karloff. I saw the Robert De Niro version that Kenneth Branagh did in 1994. This version's my favorite, even though the Borlaug version is the most iconic because everybody knows the green
the
dumb monster.
classic.
Yeah, classic monster. But this one really more than the other two really made me feel for the creature.
Were the other two more like scary monster movies? I have not seen. This is the only Frankenstein I've seen.
Yeah, so the original one was sort of kind of created a genre really of monster films because that actually led to multiple sequels and stuff like that, Bride of Frankenstein, things like that. And so at the time it was this really big movie that kind of created the genre for Universal, right? The Universal monsters and stuff. But this one, the treatment of the creature was so much more humane. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. So in the original 1931 version, he's a dumb monster with very limited dialogue. You see him; he's a little charismatic. There's this great scene with a little girl where he's bonding with her, but then he ends up killing her, I think. So,
oh boy.
So they kind of created him, and in that version, the monster gets killed. They burn him down in an old windmill. In the Robert De Niro version, the monster ends up killing himself once his creator is killed.
Who plays the monster in the De Niro one?
De Niro
It
plays
is De
the
Niro.
monster.
He's the monster. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Kenneth
Okay.
Branagh, who directs it, is also plays the role of Dr. Frankenstein in that version. Yeah. So that was an interesting version. I mean, I've looked. There's more than a dozen versions of Frankenstein, and there's been a lot of films that have focused on the scientist and not the creature at all, like the Dr. Frankenstein films and stuff. But this one is a little bit more focused on the creature, kind of that both perspectives, which I liked. I like everything Guillermo Del Toro does, pretty much.
He hasn't done a stinker.
No, he hasn't. And I mean, I fell in love with him with Hellboy. I really love the Hellboy movies, the first two he did. And yeah, it was really cool. This is something he's been wanting to do for 20 years, apparently. And,
oh, really?
And in recent interviews, he said he's kind of done. He's he shot his shot on the thing he wanted to do the most. He wanted to do this ever since he was a kid.
But he also wanted to do An Amount of Madness, which is a Lovecraft.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
And that was going to be a thing, and I was very excited because we have very few good representations of Lovecraft. If you're looking for good horror,
right,
horror from a terrible man, Lovecraft.
Yeah,
but I think Del Toro would have pulled it off.
Yeah, that would have been good. He also, I think there was talks about him doing a Jekyll Hyde film, but
oh wow,
so
wow.
I don't know if he wants to just be stuck doing all these monster movies because he did Shape of Water and he did The Creature of the Black Lagoon and stuff like that. Also, another very romantic type of film and stuff. He did change the story a little bit from the book and other versions.
Yeah.
So
Elizabeth in the book was their sister, was Dr. Frankenstein's sister, adopted sister, and then turned spouse later.
Which is weird, but
which is
Might have been okay in 1818 when Mary Shelley put this out, but
the story behind that is like his parents come across this like kind of poor family, and it's really grody. They describe the poor family as like dark haired, whatever, and that Elizabeth they had taken in was this beautiful beacon of white and blonde and blue eyed, and you're like, oh, Mary Shelley.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
So then they adopted her, and then she becomes later his wife. But yeah, I guess for drama, they changed it for this. It worked.
I think they wanted to villainize Victor Frankenstein a little bit and make it look like, oh, he wants to have an affair with his brother's fiance and all that stuff. So I think we see a sort of repeated pattern where, like, originally his father was a villain to him, and then he sort of repeats that pattern, and all that. And I think there's different versions on how Victor Frankenstein's mother dies. In one version, she dies of like scarlet fever. This version, she dies delivering William, his brother. So like, there's been little variations in that. What do you think is Mary Shelley's intention? Like, what do you think like her message about science is in this story?
I mean, scientists don't look good in this story. Scientists look pretty bad in most stories. Even that scene where he's doing the demonstration of the first monster and he catches the ball and everything, all those scientists are also pretty terrible. Like no one is supportive. It's very much this competitively driven environment, which is certainly academia now, getting better, I think.
Yeah.
But
they certainly make all the scientists very arrogant and know-it-all-y and all that, but...
and low morals. Right? Like, if we can do this, what's that? The classic quote is, "Your scientists from Jurassic Park. Your scientists didn't think they should, but they just did."
Yeah. So that there is sort of a cautionary tale here about science and development and technology. I've recently seen parallels made to AI with this movie, which is like, just because you can do the technology doesn't mean you should, right? That's the Jurassic Park theme as well.
Well, they do it without control. They just immediately launch into it. He figures, I can make this creature, this beautiful creature, and he does, but there's no guardrails. He has to chain him up, and he can very easily. What I thought also was interesting about that is he chains the monster up. That monster can get out of those chains, and he chooses not to. It trusts Victor. And Victor is abusive, a father figure to him, towards him and everything, and it was hard to watch that level of abuse from like you said, a father figure.
Yeah, I think Victor was expecting the creature to be intelligent from the start and was upset or disappointed that it wasn't, and so he didn't. It was like an example of developing an experiment but not knowing what to do with the product once you have it. You know what I mean? So he had like the plan up to it, but didn't realize, okay, now what do I do? Like,
you have to learn to roll with it. A big thing in science is your results are most of the time not what you're expecting. And you have to kind of figure out how to deal with it. After the fact. And he was a big baby about it.
He was. So mean. He was. He's very unlikable, honestly. And
I
love Oscar Isaac. He's always my, he's Poe Dameron to me, but like, or Moon Knight, but like, he was very unlikable in this movie.
Great actor, because it is hard to dislike. Oscar Isaac on scene, you want to root for him. Because we have seen him as a hero in other movies, but he was kind of the worst in this movie.
The other thing that was a little bit weird or different was they kind of insinuated that Elizabeth was in love with the creature.
Very quickly, too.
Yeah, very quickly. But maybe her whole fascination with like bugs and things like that, like maybe she's just fascinated by him.
Maybe. There was like slight sort of erotic connection between her and the monster when he was under.
Well, and I kept when she passed, I kept thinking, oh, now they're gonna bring her back, like like they've done in other movies. But I'm glad they didn't do that. But anyway, so how would you rate the movie overall? Like out of 10, what would you give it?
I think I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. And, I'm not the harshest movie grader because I'm always in it to just enjoy. And I greatly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the more I think about the movie, the more I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So originally I was like, I found the beginning a little slow, but then once the creature was there, I couldn't take my eyes off of him, and
Yeah.
I just found him really fascinating and endearing. So yeah, I agree with that score, 9 out of 10. Okay, so let's talk about the biology a little bit
Yeah.
here. So obviously there's a lot of flaws in this in this thing, but first let's talk about the kind of the idea of taking organs and body parts and making a living thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like it doesn't really work because in reality organs can't live that long.
You've got like an hour, maybe
Yeah, so
a
it depends on the organ.
couple
So
hours. Yeah.
I did some research on this. So without oxygen, a brain begins to die after 4 minutes.
Yeah, cells immediately
Right.
start to shut down.
The liver, the kidneys, the pancreas can tolerate a longer, like 12 hours, 18 hours, things like that. But like the brain and the heart, they don't live very long. It was interesting that he retrieved all those body parts from a battle scene where it was icy and snowy.
Yeah, I guess a little plausible.
Right, because every time, like for organ donation, all that stuff, organs are put on ice, right? And usually they're flushed and the blood is removed and they're flushed with a solution that allows them to get nutrients and oxygen. So like
that's not something they showed in
no.
this. Although I did like when he went by, they were about to hang those criminals, and he's just measuring them like
Yeah.
beef, and he's like, "Not this one." Just
Yeah,
walks
it
away.
had the
I'm like,
vibe of like,
"Whoa,
like a
yeah,
meat market. Like,
yeah,
I'll take this one. This looks like it'll have
yeah."
some good
It's pretty
prime
rough.
rib or something. Yeah, that was interesting. Um, so one thing that thought it was funny is like, and this is just me like kind of just thinking about it, is like there's dead bodies everywhere, and you don't really see evidence that they're dead. So you don't see a lot of insects. You don't see
There's no discoloration on
There's
the
no
bodies at all. They all look
discoloration.
quite
There's no
flush.
evidence that any of them smell. Like it's
Oh, it would
so
have reeked when they get down and he's like sliding things down that tunnel, and it's just a mountain. That would have smelled so
so
bad.
bad.
I
So
don't know how he was even in
yeah,
there. Ooh.
I had a weird experience as a student in college. I was a intern at a morgue,
Oh, cool.
and I got to see a lot of dead bodies.
My
And
inner goth loves this.
yeah, they
Yeah.
smell bad,
Bad.
and you can tell how they die by how they smell. They
Really?
have different smells. Yeah, drowning victims smell different than someone who like committed suicide in their apartment. They
Oh.
have different smells because of like what happens to their body, right? So that was just kind of interesting.
When you would also see when someone dies, the blood will all, because of gravity, kind of sink. So I
Yes.
didn't see any pressure marks in any of the bodies from being laid out.
Yeah. So liver mortis happens.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
pulling of the blood. And so, yeah, you should have saw all the bodies lose color. The blood pools and also separates. So the
Yes.
heavier cells go to the bottom, the plasma goes to the top, and it creates like these large red livery spots type thing on the body. So that's something that I was thinking about. Like repeatedly, we saw the creature get hurt and bleeding all over the place. But we never had
Well, he would have to have fully connected arteries and
fully
veins.
connected arteries and new blood.
And new blood. Oh, yeah, we didn't see a transfusion happening.
Right.
We just saw this electricity and sort of the reanimation, but also the gentle surgery it would take to realign all these new blood vessels and large arteries for all these organs. I can't even imagine the precision. It's hard enough to like put a new limb on,
right?
Let alone piece together an entire body.
Like some of the stuff that they did kind of made sense. Like when he put in a new knee or something like that. I think like that's stuff that we do in sports medicine.
Yeah,
like that kind of stuff makes sense. But yeah, like the body should be drained and then repumped with new blood, so that all the organs are essentially oxygenated and get nutrients and stuff like that. So that's sort of like kind of problematic. There was this big kind of thing about, Dr. Frankenstein needed these silver elements to basically electrify the creature, right? And so I was thinking about that. So I asked you, like, do you know why they use silver?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because silver is the most conductive.
Right.
It's the best form of electricity conduction.
Right.
It's not it's not stable. And I brought this up to you earlier about gold. The reason we put gold in all of our electronics, even though silver is the best, is mostly because gold is much more stable of an element.
Yeah.
But I guess for Victor's purposes, you're just plowing a bunch of energy through one
on a lightning storm.
Yeah, on a lightning storm. So you don't need it to be stable.
Well, so it's interesting. So maybe it's just the time, but like I likened it to like a defibrillator.
That's probably what they were thinking.
Yeah. So the idea is like, and with that, you're just trying to shock the pacemaker to start stimulating heart muscle, right? Yeah. So I guess that's the intention there.
You kind of also, a lot with heart re-stimulation, you need manual, it needs pressure. It can't just be electricity. It's why we see chest compressions.
Right.
And then when folks are doing heart surgery, and sometimes they do manual stimulation with the hands. Like electricity alone probably isn't going to be enough, especially when you're reanimating like an entirely new put together body.
Right. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting to think about. What do you what's your guess? So the little trivia question on what is the record for most organs donated or person receiving the most organs? Like, what's your guess?
I'm trying to think of what organs.
Because I try to find real life examples of Frankenstein's monster, right? Like,
so you can have, you can have a heart transplant, you can have lungs, you can have a liver, kidney. So 5, maybe 7 if you got doubles replaced.
Yeah. So
this
all
is just
that.
A guess.
Yeah, all that you could essentially do it. And that assumes all of it takes, right?
Yeah.
So like there's this guy named Daniel Canal who received a stomach, liver, pancreas, and small intestine 3 times.
Wow.
So he had 4 transplants.
Oh man.
3 different times. This other guy named Bjorn van Empel had 7 kidney transplants.
I don't. How are you even on a list for 7 times?
I know, like that's not fair.
Was it Cheney who got 3 hearts or something?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So
save some
money
organs
buys
for the
privilege.
rest of us.
Money buys privilege. Yeah. So what about the fact that his mind was erased?
I think that kind of makes sense, right? So if the brain is no longer being stimulated after a certain point, and you said that it kind of cell death begins in 4 minutes, like maybe you start damaging parts of that and memories go. I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of made sense to me because I think that also gets into a whole nother realm of what is yourself. Is yourself your brain? Is it something else that we can't physically touch or see? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. This almost like this creature feel like it had a soul.
It did feel like it had a soul.
Yeah. And that was kind of where that came
scientific.
From. Yeah, not scientific at all. But yeah, there was I'm blanking on the movie. There was an Emma Stone movie where she was a resurrected, sort of like in a Frankenstein monsters kind of way.
I have that on my list and I haven't watched it yet.
But she's given a juvenile brain. So she's a woman's body with a juvenile brain, and so you see all this learning happen very quickly because like the brain is like
very plastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was similar to me. Like he was learning. He learned very quickly, actually, from that blind man.
Especially from the blind man.
Yeah, I loved him. So
much.
He's great. He's a Harry Potter film character. So
is he?
Yeah. So I was like a big fan of him, but.
I love that whole gentle storyline, and he wasn't even really afraid. He was like, "Take my stuff, it's cool." And then when the monster took his hand and put it on his head, what a sweet monster!
Yeah,
what a sweet creature! It was very touching. That's all he wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So so it was crazy how quickly he could learn and everything like that, which I think is plausible if you have an adult brain. Maybe I don't know.
Do we have no record of? Well, do we have a record of someone basically getting amnesia from going under for too long or losing oxygen for a while? Because that maybe a prolonged thing causes permanent
Right. Well, and we see a lot of
grasping at
amnesiac
biological
patients
straws.
having to relearn and could wake up with a new personality even.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's there. In the beginning, when all he could say was Victor, I think that was part of the sort of brain development because he wasn't making all the connections. It's like, well, it's sort of like a baby, essentially. Like they have that first word they repeat a lot.
Yeah, you have children.
Yeah.
When your boys were like little and learning how to speak, how long did it take for them to kind of put?
There was a lot of data in the beginning, which I was happy about, but it did take a little while. There's a whole set of motor skills that develop with that, like and control.
Yeah. Facial muscle control.
Yeah, but that's the thing is they are able to communicate, right? That's why like a lot of babies are using like sign language.
Sign language.
Yeah. So, and you could see like in the monster that like there was feeling, there was emotion, that he was trying to communicate, he just couldn't, right?
Yeah, he seemed a little frustrated at a few points. So
yeah.
he's slowly learning.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty credible.
Yeah, so that part was all like very credible. Now the tremendous amount of strength didn't really make sense.
He was very strong.
He got found a really big guy. I mean,
yeah, the actor is 6'5", and he's not a small man.
Yeah. So it makes sense he could be strong.
Oh, the wrestling those wolves. I don't know.
I know.
That was something.
That was awesome. But
yeah.
Anything else you want
to? I can't think of anything else biological. Other than like my other gripe was, where was the peer review process?
Well, so he was trying to get permission to do this like at a university with money, and they basically were like, they cut his funding, so he's like, fine, I'm gonna go somewhere else to do this on my own.
We need grants, guys. The scientist needs grants to get things done. We need funding. That's
how it works. So it was interesting. So he basically got support from Elizabeth's father,
her uncle,
right?
Her uncle,
who essentially was funding this with his own interests. He was hoping to replace some of his own organs, I suppose.
Because he had syphilis.
He had syphilis, right.
Syphilis is a pretty gnarly sexually transmitted disease and causes all kinds of problems in the body and then eventually the brain. It's a terrible way to die.
Yeah.
So I
didn't know what he thought he was going to get out of it. Like, I need you to replace all my parts but my brain, which has holes in it.
Brain was bad, yeah. I didn't... I remember we were watching it. I watched with my husband on the couch, and I looked over to him, and I'm like, his brain is all messed up. You can't... What is he doing? You can't fix that. Syphilis is like the one thing in that universe you probably couldn't fix with the transplant.
Right. So if someone's going to donate money to you and give you funding, you definitely want to know their intentions.
Yes.
Before you get into it. So, how would you rate? So let's come up with a rating system for the biology of this, and we'll use like the peer review kind of system. So reject the movie, accept with major revisions, minor revisions, or just accept altogether. Ooh. How would you score this?
I'm gonna be reviewer number 2 and go accept with major revisions.
Major revisions. Yeah.
I like the idea. I think there is a lot of room for real biology in there, with of course magical whimsy, because we want that in these movies. But pretty big disconnect. Yeah.
Once he was alive, a lot of the stuff made sense.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like bringing him to the point where he was alive.
Although the immortality, he was mending really quickly.
Right.
We don't do that.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we don't do that. There are animals who do have incredible regenerative proproperties. Think about lizards. Some species of lizard, when you remove the tail, it can grow back. I think
starfish,
axolotls regenerate. We have lots of examples of regenerative. Oh yeah, planarians. Yeah. Little wormy guys. Of examples, but not mammals. We don't. Right. We can slowly, obviously, regen if we get cut, but this was pretty major bullet hole, stabbing, wolf bites kind of a thing, and that doesn't work.
What would be really funny is like, so essentially he created an immortal monster, right? How funny would it be if they did a sequel where it's like the creature like living in San Francisco in 2025, working at a Starbucks or something like that.
Oh God, it's like
hanging out with the Berkeley kids talking philosophy or something like that.
His hair is hopefully completely grown in at
Yeah.
that point. His hair was so bad.
Yeah, he'd have a man bun, you know.
Oh, at least it would have fixed some of the
Yeah.
patchiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was into the monster till he started growing that hair, and I'm like, nah.
yeah, it didn't really work.
He's looking
for
a little
him.
greasy now.
But yeah, but it was interesting that Guillermo Del Toro made the choice to make this monster immortal, which in other versions I didn't see. You know, usually the monster gets killed or whatever. So
I felt so bad for him to be immortal alone. And this is like a thing you see in a lot of movies like this, like vampire movies where they're immortal and just to like live and he came, he wanted a companion, and it must be awful to just be in that state.
Maybe that's
forever.
just a like creative trick to leave the door open.
Like, in case you want to do another one. Or a bride situation.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm okay with it, Guillermo. If you want to make another
Please,
one, that was fun. I really enjoyed it.
That was good.
So, anyways, that's all I got in notes for the movie, but I did like it. I mean, I really liked it. So, overall thumbs up on it.
Yeah, me too. Oh, what was your peer review?
I agree. Major revisions. So, like, once he was born, it was fine. They got wonky with like the quick healing and stuff like that. He looked like Wolverine out there. He was like, incredibly strong, and the ability to push that boat. I mean, that was crazy.
That was awesome.
Yeah. But he's so tall. It's just levers. Really. It's just so
it's all leverage. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but overall, I enjoyed it, and we hope you liked our kind of review of this movie, and we're planning on doing a lot of these, so stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.